Okay, welcome to this video. I'm hoping to go through how to make a simple ordering and payments database. I'll be using this rather archaic Access 7000, but obviously I'm hoping that whatever lessons you learn from this you'll be able to apply to the version of Access you have. Now, I have already started. I have a table here. Now, I'm just going to take you how to put this table together, and hopefully I'll show you some of the tricks of the trade that let you do this sort of thing quite quickly. Now, we're going to start here on the Create ribbon. Here's the different options for creating a table. I'm going to prefer and I'd recommend using the table design. It means we just get straight into this design area here. Now we're going to first of all set out by making our table key. Now a good name for that's going to be something like customer ID, cust ID. The data type for that needs to be auto number. As usual, I recommend that you fill in the design here. So we know this is a customer ID, so we say something like customer unique ID number, a bit more verbose, we're just explaining what this means. Now, this field name, cust ID, is not the sort of thing we want to be displayed. This is rather cryptic. Cust ID is designed to distinguish the ID number shown here from all the other ID numbers. But within the context, we don't need to do that. So down here we want a caption. We want to have something really simple down here, something like number or ID, or we could even use the abbreviation hash, just to say that's what this is going to be labelled. I'm going to choose sort of intermediate. I'll go for an ID. Now that I've done that, if I just remember here, and it's really handy to do, just remember to put the primary key designation on here. If you don't worry. When you save it, it'll remind you that you haven't done it. So with this, we can now save the table. There's a little save button up there, and as you see, it tells you what the shortcut key is, Control S. You hit Control S and it asks you what you want to call it. Now I'm going to recommend, I always recommend this, saving it with Hungarian notation, the TBL, the three letters TBL in front of the name that I want to use to describe it, TBL customer. Now since I already have a TBL customer over here, if I call this TBL customer as well, obviously it'll get upset. I'll just call this TBL customer demo, just so that it'll save. I'll probably just delete it later on, but this is telling you what it is here, and it says TBL customer demo, and I'll go through the various fields that I want to put in, beginning with, of course, the customer title. Now, you can choose anything you like. I'm choosing to make this be C title, so that it is going to be something that I recognise as the customer title, even if it crops up somewhere else. It also helps just the system to distinguish between different titles. Now, the text field that I create here, I want to start out making sure that it knows that this is a customer title, or title of the customer, the title belonging to the customer, how the customer wishes to be addressed, anything like that would be suitable. Now down here what I want to do is I want to immediately remember to set up the field size before I go on and do anything else. Now the thing that I do want to do here is make this have a lookup. Now the lookup, in this case, I want to type the values. There are a limited number of values and they will not change during the lifetime of the system. Well, it's very unlikely that they'll change during the lifetime of the system. So I'm perfectly happy to type them in here. Mr. Oops. Enter makes me go forward. Now I don't want to do that. I want to stay here. I want to say Mr. Oops. Mrs. and Miss. Now, you feel free to put on as many as you think are appropriate. But when you've done, make sure that you just drag this column boundary over as far as it reasonably can go. It's important to do so. It helps the presentation of the drop down to know what the sort of typical distance you want is. I'm going to go on and say here, now please do not check allow multiple values. It's tempting, and there are situations where you'll want to do it, but you are best for an A-level project to not do this. You're better keeping it unticked and implementing some sort of linked table. Okay. Now I'm just going to go on to another one, something like customer phoneme. Again, that's going to be text. Now I'm going to set that up as something like 30, and then I'm going to be putting in here. Now this is going to be the customer phoneme, and this is where I'm going to start using some of the little tricks. Now that's a field. Most of the things on here, the size 30, the text, the word customer in there, I'm going to want to keep, because I'm just going to want to copy. I'm just going to try and select, Control C for copying. Oh, it is on the sort of context menu, and then here I'm just going to paste. You can actually do that as many times as you like. It will only get upset if these are duplicated when it comes to save the table. So I've got a little bit of grace just to put in here, and obviously I'm going to copy and paste so that I can do this a bit more quickly. Now I did forget to do the caption on the previous one, and that should have had a caption set to phoneme. Now I'm going to start onto the customer's address. Now I'm going to use a simple abbreviated field, customer, C for customer address 1. That's nice and short. The text over here, I want this to be much more verbose. Customer address line 1 is sensible. Note, because I copied and pasted this, the field size of 30 is in there, and I want that. Now to some extent I probably should have made the decision to set required to yes before I started replicating them, because obviously they should be required. I will need all parts of the address, and so I'm going to make them required. Now I'm going to do a quick copy, and again I'm just going to try and paste in more so that I can just speed up the creation process of what's going on here. 2, 3. Oh, and what I forgot to do is I forgot to do the caption. Now again, the caption that I'm using here is what I will expect it to do when it is in context. So this will be turning up on a form for the customer. So there's very little point in writing in the caption that this is customer's address line 3. In fact, it's probably going to be customers. Sorry, it's going to be obvious that it's the customer belongs to the customer because it's going to be in the customer form. It's probably even obvious that if I want to use something like, say, the customer billing address, and I'll just put that, I'll put a little CB in there for customer billing address, and customer billing address, and over here we are, customer billing. Oops. Just put those spaces in. Here we are here. Let's just try. Been a bit cantankerous. Customer billing address. It would be easier to type this. Customer billing address. Now I'm going to want the customer billing postcode. Again, this is going to be text. But this time I want to take it down to something much more reasonable. I'm going to have to go for 12. I'm going to type in here the customer billing postcode. Now before I leave the postcode, I'm going to try and make sure that everything is the way it should be. Postcode, there.
Okay, what I want to do is put an input mask into the postcode. Now if I look on here, you'll see I don't have the UK postcode, but that isn't a problem because all I would have ended up doing is telling you that the postcode isn't very useful in here, and the postcode that I want to be using is a postcode mask that I get from good old Google. So you type in input mask for UK postcode and you'll get one of these articles, whatever thing you're looking for, and here it is, input mask for postcode. Now this person says this one isn't working. This is the one that you get if you do use the Access UK mask. It's not particularly useful. The answer is this. So not much difference, simply taking one required number and switching it for an optional number. So I just want to put that in here. Okay. Each of the symbols has a specific meaning. Now there may have been a space there which I've just been careful to remove. Okay, and now comes the really important piece of magic. I want to take all 4 of these and I want to duplicate them. I have all the customer's billing address here. I want to do a Control C. I want to drop down here, put in a Control V to paste all of these on, and what I want to do is I want to swap the billing for the delivery. So let's just call this delivery. Oh, don't need to put an extra space in. I just need to do a little Control C, and then it's just like that, like that, like that. And over here, I just want to change the capital B that represents billing for a capital D for delivery. And it's a simple matter just to go through them. Keyboard shortcuts that I'm using to do this are, of course, F2 so that it knows that I want to edit it, home to move it home, a couple of arrow keys, and then putting in the D, and that gets me all of that. Now, to complete the customer, I would contact details, so customer tele. Now again, that is a text field. I'm just going to put in here customer telephone. I'm going to reduce this down to something like 20. Now there are perfectly good input masks to use here. Again, you're quite welcome to select one of these and use it. I'm going to skip that step just for sake of brevity. I'm going to put in something like customer email, and this is where I'm going to also take the trouble to put in some validation. That's going to be text. I want to set a reasonable limit here. It's pretty much essential that you don't have any fields that are stuck on the 255 unless you really want to, unless you really need them to be that. A better alternative, if you're going for big for big amounts of text, is to use the memo instead. So the customer email. Now I want a validation rule here for it. I could try to do this using an input mask, which I assume is theoretically possible, but really is more effort than it's worth. I want to use a validation rule here. Now, to ask for the validation rule, I'm going to have to go up here. I'm going to have to put in validation rule. Now, you can see here someone's auto-completing access. I recommend you use the word MS access. Google should figure it out. You'll see it auto-corrects it to your MS access validation rule for email address, something like that. Okay. It even says, did I want that? Restrict data input using validation rules. So here's some examples for how to validate. Stack Overflow is, I will highly recommend this website. It's got lots and lots of useful and quick to use. Okay, so you can see here's someone's trying validation rule, and here's someone here explaining what their problem is, and it would seem that their problem is they messed something else up, and I don't even have to worry about what it was because they've done something really obscure, and I'll just copy that in, stick it into mine on the basis that I haven't got anything silly. Yep. Now what it's doing there is, yeah, there was just a return character in there, so there we are. I'll give that a whirl. Okay, if I just check over it, it says is null, which means it's allowed to be blank, which actually seems reasonable. Or it has to be like, and this star question mark stands for anything, but it must at least be one letter. The @ symbol, question mark means at least one letter, star means anything else, dot, at least one letter, and then star means anything. Now, it says it has to be that and not like, and then it has to be not like, and then there's a symbol here that says anything including commas and full stops and stuff like that, and anything. Okay, so it's saying what it has to have and saying what it not has to have. Now, with any luck, I should be able to just test that out quite quickly and easily. Head here to there. Now, the one I want to test, it's going to be annoyed if I don't test some of these things out. Here we are. There's my. Okay, now I have to enter a customer phoneme. Must enter a value in that field. Now, okay, that was because I clicked below that rather than across to it. If I click across, I'm okay. It's if I click off it, it will object to some of the validation rules. You see here, this little symbol means it's being edited. If I go over here, it tries to save it. That's when it starts to object, because it's applying the rules. So I'll just put in Fred. I'll put Fred Barnes in, and I'll put in his address. He lives at number 2 Gifford Road, and that will be in I'll put that in Lisburn just for fun. I'll put that in County Antrim, and I'll give them a postcode like BT20, oh, no, 2524, that's near enough, for, yeah, some letters, that seems to work. Now I have to put this in. Now I don't feel, oops, you're being, okay. Now, yeah, I'm not trying to, okay, I'm just trying to copy that, so I don't have to paste it again. Okay, Shift Tab, Shift Tab, Shift Tab, Control C. Put that in there. This is a bit of a faff. Okay, let's just put that line in there. Okay, just copy that there. Paste it in there. And now here's the telephone number. I'll just give them something. And here we are. This is the email. I'll try getting, what I'll try to do first of all is to see if it objects if I put in a comma and at something.com. There we are. It doesn't like that because I put in a comma. Now I want to tidy up this later. Okay, I'll just go back through this here. Now I'll just take the comma, replace it with a full stop, press enter, and it's happy. That record saves perfectly well. Now, as I said, I'm going to need to just tidy up. Having tested it, I'm going to tidy up this validation text here. What I'll put in here, it could be something as simple, must be valid email, comma, or let's say no commas, and must include, I'll put it in an at symbol. Okay, no commas and must include. That seems to make reasonable sense. So that's a reasonable rule. Now, thank you very much. That has got the first table in. What I'll do now is I'll just go away and put in a few of the rest of the tables, and then I'll get back to finishing this off when I have them in and look at how we're going to set up the forms. Thank you very much for listening. Hope this has been helpful. The main skill I've been trying to teach is how to do this quickly, how to get these fields in using copy and pasting. You do not have to follow this scheme. Any scheme you come up with will be infinitely better than this. This is a bare minimum, just a quick demonstration of the sort of things that you want to be putting in. Okay, thank you very much.